What's good, YouTube, man? It's your boy SB back with another sports break. Now, obviously, I've been gone for a little bit, and obviously, I'm in a new location. But I appreciate everybody that's been showing love on the last video that I dropped. We ran that video up to one of the highest viewed videos on this channel, and I can't say nothing but thank you. And I appreciate all the love that you guys been giving this channel. But obviously, since I've been gone, there's been a lot of stuff that's been happening in the sports world. And in this video in particular, I'm going to be breaking down the NBA Finals, the last 3 games that I missed, and letting you guys know how the rest of this series is probably going to play out. So either than that, let's get into the video. First 2 games of these NBA Finals, it's been looking like a one team showed up to this series. And the Suns were dominating those first 2 games in Phoenix. Chris Paul and Devin Booker were scoring as will. They even had big games from guys like Mikal Bridges and Cameron Johnson. It seemed like the Bucks were dead in the water and they were treading water. Giannis came back in game 1 after missing a week of playing basketball with a hyper-extended knee. And in that first game, he looked kind of disinterested. Even though he still dropped 20 and 17, he didn't have enough juice to get them over in game 1. Game 2 was much of the same. It came out to where Chris Paul and Devin Booker got whatever they wanted on the floor, and even had a contribution from Mikal Bridges dropping 27. But in this game too, Giannis was back to being Giannis. But nobody else showed up to help him in that game. And it started to look like that they were about to get swept out of the finals going into Phoenix. But everything changed moving the series over to Milwaukee in game 3. Teammates showed up for Giannis and they ended up blowing the Suns out by a whole lot. Now, I want to talk about Devin Booker and the adjustments that the Bucks have made in guarding him, because it seems that they have put a focal point on slowing down Devin Booker and letting the other pieces fall into place. See, early in the series in games 1 and 2, PJ Tucker was the primary defender on Devin Booker, and he really feasted on PJ Tucker very easily. But in game 3, they switched Jrue Holiday onto him. And this matchup fits Jrue Holiday well. I think Devin Booker ended up shooting 3 for 14. He finished the game with 10 points and didn't play in the 4th quarter. Jrue Holiday completely took this man out of the game. He was the equalizer, and he looked a lot better guarding Devin Booker than he did against Chris Paul, because Chris Paul was just getting switches on him all day. And that's another thing. They've changed the way that they played the pick and roll. They realized that they couldn't switch everything against the Suns team because these guards could get whatever they want against their big man. So now they're playing a pick and drop to where the big man drops down into the paint and the guard that's getting picked has to fight over that pick. The one thing that is a downside for this way of playing the pick and roll is the person that's setting the screen is going to have whatever they have wide open looks. But they're willing to live with that. And that's why in game 3, Jay Crowder was able to hit 6 or 17 of his 3-pointers and have 18 points. But you live with Jay Crowder giving you 18 and Devin Booker only giving you 10 in the win. So it seems that they picked their feast. They don't want Devin Booker getting off, and they don't want DeAndre Ayton getting off. And I think the switch that Budenholzer made for game 3 for DeAndre Ayton was a big one. They found out ways to get DeAndre Ayton to hold Giannis on the block, and that got him in foul trouble fast with the swiftness. I think he had 5 fouls by the 3rd quarter, trying to hold Giannis down on that block and trying to do too much. If DeAndre Ayton is going to switch the big man screen, then Giannis is the one that's going to have him one-on-one by the block. He can't be down there by himself. Somebody has to come help, and they got to make those shooters hit those shots. That was one of the key things about the Phoenix Suns in game 1 and 2. They made the Milwaukee shooters shoot the ball. And Jrue Holiday, Chris Middleton, Pat Connaughton, Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, all those guys weren't hitting their shots in Phoenix. But home cooking looks a lot better for role players. Role players tend to shoot the ball better at home. And that showed for the Bucks. But for what Giannis has been doing so far in this series has been incredible. He's on a tear right now, and he's looking very dominant, looking like one of the best players in the NBA at this moment. He had back-to-back 40-plus games, and I've seen nothing that the Suns can do to stop him from averaging 40 in this series. I think if the Bucks win, then Giannis has the MVP on lock. But by no any means is this series over with. The Bucks look like they found something. Look like they figured some stuff out. And after the first two games, they're having to make adjustments for the first time in the series. Is on the Suns now. The Suns have to make those adjustments and find a way to counteract the adjustments that the Bucks made in Game 3. Devin Booker has to be better. And really, Devin Booker hasn't been Devin Booker this whole series. The Devin Booker that we've seen throughout the course of the playoffs haven't showed up in the finals. But it's not to say that he's not capable. He has the ability, he has the talent, he has the skill. And this is a guy that can score at will, drop of the hat. So I don't expect Devin Booker to have another 10-point game. You know, I expect him to score 20 plus for every game left in this series. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to win. The Bucks have to keep it up. They have to keep their foot on the necks. They can't lose game 4 just as well as they couldn't lose game 3. They can't go back to Phoenix down 3-1, or this series is going to get really out of hand really fast, and they won't go past 6 games. I guarantee you that. So game 4 is just as important as any other game in the series. And then after game 4, if it's tied, every game in this series is going to be important. It's going to be pivotal. It's going to be must-haves. So this series can get a lot more fun. These finals can get a lot better than what they have been. After those first 2 games, a lot of people was turned off about the course of the finals and how easily the Suns were manhandling the Bucks. But Milwaukee showed up and showed that they had some fight in game 3, and they made this series a lot more interesting. The series has shown that the Giannis slander needs to stop or slow down, or y'all need to pump the brakes on all the hate that Giannis gets. Giannis is a back-to-back MVP. Giannis is a defensive player of the year. He's made All-NBA first team multiple times. This guy's a superstar in this league and deserves a lot more respect than what he gets from the mass media or the popular media that's out on TV. I seen the other day that people were talking about if Giannis scoring 40 is actually good for the Bucks after they lost game 2. And to ask that question is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And they have Kendrick Perkins on TV saying that Giannis is the Robin to Chris Middleton's Batman. Ignorance like that is not to be spewed and is not to be respected. If you understand the game and you're watching these games, you understand that Giannis is a monster. He's one of the most dominant players we've seen in this generation, and he's been compared to the dominance of Shaq down low and down in the post. He's almost that unstoppable. Giannis can do almost anything on the floor besides shoot threes and make free throws consistently. But the things that he does on both sides of the court off balances that. Also think that the love Chris Paul is getting is definitely warranted. It's definitely needed. He's long overdue to have a situation like this arise for him and in his career. So I'm rooting for these 2 players specifically. I don't care which team wins. Even though I picked the Bucks to win in 6, it's looking like 7 now. But in my opinion, I really don't care who wins the series or who wins the championship. I want to see interesting gameplay and good competition. For these 2 guys to be stalwarts in this NBA, to have this opportunity is amazing for them. And to see them both capitalizing on it is nothing short of spectacular. So I think no matter what, it's a win-win for us as NBA fans, especially if this series is able to be an extended one, going past 6 or 7 games. But I think that the slander that Giannis gets is ridiculous. We need to pump the brakes on him a little bit and let him show what he has to do. I think a lot of people say that the one thing that's holding him back is he hasn't shown it in the playoffs. Well, he's here in the finals dropping 40 on everybody's head. And like I said earlier, it doesn't look like that's going to stop. The man is on course to average 40 and about 15 rebounds. So let's show some love to some of these players. Let's give everybody their flowers and respect this series for what it's been so far. It's been a hard-fought first 2 games. It was an ugly game 3. But now it's like we're about to turn the corner on this series. Game 4 is going to be really important to the overall outcome of the series. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys for watching the video. Like I said before, I appreciate all the love my last video got. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And if you do like this type of content, make sure you continue to leave a like, leave a comment, and if you haven't, make sure you smash the subscribe button. And other than that, I'm out. I'll catch y'all in the next one.